Afrobeat Intelligence Podcast.
Afrobeat Intelligence, democratizing African music.
So you were saying about when you were trying to leave the industry.
Yeah. So
the same cycle was happening again.
Same thing over and over again. And then that
was it boring for you?
It became boring. It became it wasn't challenging anymore. It's like you want to put a new single. I literally can put out a song in my sleep.
Yeah.
Did you get? I don't even like these days. I'm usually the last person to even post new music is out, because it's like if I've been following me since 2009 on Twitter, it would be like, what's with this person every day? Listens to this,
Sure.
like same old, and everything. And I wanted something different. I wanted a lot more. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to learn something new. I also felt like I was given more than I was getting. Yeah. So I was drained half the time. Like I was drained all the time, not even half. I was drained all the time, mentally, emotionally, physically. Like I was always tired. Yeah. You know, because it's like give. I want. You know, and that's how it is. You know, on this side of the bench, you end like on most days you're giving more than you're receiving. You know, and I wanted something different.
But in that sort of situation, like you've where does your, apart from like passion and the purpose that you have when you're doing this, what brings you joy? When do you get to celebrate? Where are those moments where it's all worth it?
Like the moment when you put out that one record that everybody loves.
Okay.
Or the moment when you see people celebrating an artist that you've worked with for so long, and everyone finally sees what it is that you saw. You know, those moments are priceless. Like I still can't get over, like if I'm in a room, and say for example I'm in a room and Cold Outside comes up, I don't know how to react. Yeah. But those moments are the moments that I live for.
Nice.
Nice.
And then are they enough for you to go through like the negatives? Are they enough? Do they tide you over?
It's so weird, man.
Yes.
like how it works.
Yes.
Yeah, like it just makes you feel like you can do everything.
Yeah.
You can do anything and everything, because it's like you found this one artist. So I'll give an example. I was talking to Beat Freaks in the UK last week. We haven't spoken in like a year. Like we catch up every year. Beat Freaks, the amazing producers in the UK, produce so many hit records in the UK.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Big Freaks.
The Beat Freaks.
Big Freaks.
Yeah. I remember when we started chatting, this was like 2010 or so. And so when I hit him up, he's like, yo, like Uche, one of the brothers is like, yo, you can hit us up at any time. Like they still remember when I hit them up in 2010, telling them to listen to this amazing artist. Yeah. Guess who the artist was? Wizkid.
For real?
Like, bro, like, so when everyone's seeing or talking about Wiz the way that they're talking about him now, it's like, welcome guys, you're like 10 years late.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so seeing all of that is like, it makes you feel like you can do everything. But then not every artist is like Wiz.
True.
So Wiz.
When did you start? When was the first time you ever heard Wiz? Was it from the Beat Freaks?
Bro, no. I was the one who told Beat Freaks about him.
When was the first time? When was the first time you saw Wizkid? Like you heard him.
So
was it Wizkid then?
No, like 2007, 2008. So there was this thing I was doing with so I was how did I meet Nomolas? I don't even know. But then I started doing this thing with Nomolas and Joyce Izeyamu called Club Nomolas.
Okay.
God rest Nomolas' soul.
What was Club Nomolas?
It was a hangout. Like it was, I don't even know what day of the week it was, but then I know that it was at Planet One.
Yeah.
And at the beginning there was like a 1 hour for new artists, to come perform. So we had this group on Facebook. So we'd have people come on Facebook and then submit entries or whatnot. And then at the time, I was friends with Nyori. Nyori was this amazing dancehall artist, female dancehall artist. Like, and then she told me about some kid. Do you know Lil Vicious?
I know Lil Vicious.
Like
way
from
back,
yeah,
way
so she's
back.
telling me there's this kid that used to come around OJB's studio, and he sounded like Lil Vicious. He's really young. He's amazing. I think you can work with him. I know that you're busy, but I think you can work with him. Like I think you should work with him. I was just like, I'm focused on Kel. Like, what did I even know that I was doing with Kel?
Yeah.
Let me face the one that I'm doing, and then we'll figure everything out later. So one day I'm deleting texts from my Nokia phone. Because I see like text entries from Club Nomulus.
Yeah.
And I see this one text like, "Hi, my name is Wizkid. I'm the one Yuri told you about." Because I think she told him to text me. Please let me know when I can come see you. And then I told him to come, and then he came to Planet One.
What year was this?
This is like 2007.
2007.
2007, 2008. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think he was running late. And then I called, and apparently he'd been outside. They weren't letting him in. And because he was 17 at the time or 16, I don't remember. But then he looked like he was like, bro, like, what are you doing here? He looked like he was 10.
Yeah, because he had this baby face.
Yeah. So he had
And he was small.
Yeah, he had these white jeans on, tight white. We used to wear the tightest jeans. Tight, like skinny ass jeans, white, and then these black shoes and a black shirt.
Yeah.
And just from looking at him, like I knew that, like, yo, this boy is not ordinary.
Yeah.
Even
what gave you that feeling? What was it about him back then?
So for me, like, so for every artist that I work with, there has to be that connection.
Yeah.
Like I need to, like, I can feel it, like I can see it, I can feel it from 3 minutes, from a conversation with you for like 3 minutes. I know. And in those 3 minutes, I know if you don't believe that you're that person that I see.
Yeah.
And I know that if I try to show you, you can either catch on or you won't catch on. Most times I know that the artist won't catch on or the person won't catch on. You get?
Yeah.
Unless there's a song that blows up. But for you to actually, like, I don't know how to explain it.
You have to see your greatness.
Yeah, you have to see it, because even if I see it, if you can't own it, if you don't live up to it, you would never be great. You would have 1 or 2 hit songs, but that's about it. You get?
So your 30 minutes with Wizkid, he saw it.
Like I knew that he knew.
Okay.
You get? Because there's nothing, like, even when we started to do like the so I was friends with the guys at Night House, and that was the only studio where we could get like free time and all.
Yeah.
So even when we started to go to the studio, there's nothing that Gomez would ask Wiz to do that Wiz wouldn't do. He was never too tired to try out something. He was never too tired to, pronounce this the way that, the correct. He was never too tired. He was so willing to learn.
Yeah.
There was even a time when we used to rehearse performances with remote controls in a tight ass fucking studio. That studio was
with remote controls.
Yeah, that studio was like half the size of this room.
Okay.
Yeah, like he was never too tired. Even when I was in the hospital in Luth.
And this is a small room, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a very small room. In Luth, I remember MI agreeing to mix and master a song called Mami Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the day he went to the house with the data. He got the data, went to the house. That was the day he got on Fast Money, Fast Cars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. So like.
So he got to the house and then he recorded over there.
Yeah. So he told me, he's like, "Oh, there's this song that I did. That, I think the song is going to be on MI's album." So we're like, you've blown. Thank God. I even remember, like, so when I finally started going out after my accident, so Banky had, like, we always used to hang out at Sway Bar.
Yeah, Sway Bar is a legendary place. Though.
Yeah, it was the place. So we went to Sway Bar, and as we got out the cab, the black and white taxi, the music was playing. Like, there was a song playing, and he's like, "That's the song I did at MI's house." I was like, "Who's playing it?" Then we went. It was playing from Basket Mouse car. He was playing it from other people, telling them how this kid is like the next thing. And I said to them, obviously with my swollen face, my battered face, I'm like, this is the kid that's singing that song. And they looked at us as if, nice one. As in Basket was just like, nice one. Like, well done. Because they didn't think like
that was him.
This girl now with battered face and this child.
Because he was so small.
Yeah. So we left, went upstairs, and fast forward. Fast forward. We used to get kicked out of, like, we couldn't get into clubs.
You couldn't get into clubs because Wizkid was too small?
Yeah. And I was a babe. Did you get like I was skinny as fuck.
So you were this.
I was skinny
you were
as
this
fuck.
Skinny tall woman
With glasses,
The
like
tall baby
it's
with
like, what are
glasses.
you doing here? Like I was such a geek. Like I looked like such a geek. It's like, what are you doing here with a child?
and beside you is a child.
It's like, what are you doing here? Then maybe sometimes Kel will be there. So it's like, and Kel too was young. So that was like three misfits. Like, what are you guys looking for here? So there were days when, so if Sound Sultan, God bless his soul, if he's performing at the show, Kel would have texted him like, Baba, what time are you going to be there? So we make sure we get there around the same time so that Sound Sultan can say,
let's all move together.
let them in.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Or just hope that someone will recognize us at the entrance. Yeah.
True.
Crazy times. Yeah.
Huh.
But how did we get here?
Yeah, it's
That was the question you asked.
don't think about how we got here, because I'm curious about when you started working, because the first time I heard of you, it was so very much closely related to Wizkid. So they're like, that's the lady that manages Wizkid, that's the Wizkid's manager, that's the person that blew, that's Wizkid manager. Then later when I became more knowledgeable in the game and I started going back in history and asking questions about the greatness that existed then, like where did it come from? Because I always look for etymology, the origin of things. And they told me, that's the lady that blew Wizkid. That's the lady that blew Wizkid. I'm like, how did you know? So back then, so I'm curious back then, like, so after you guys met and you could say it,
what was the next thing?
When did you say, okay, I was going to work with this guy? And what made you do that? I know you could see the talent with the first 3 minutes and you believed it.
Like the fact that he did everything he could to look as good as he did. Like he didn't look like he wasn't wearing, like the shoes weren't the nicest.
He looked fly.
Yeah, like I could tell that he put in effort to look fly.
Okay.
You know, and then when I listened to music, there was so many, like, it's like if you made these songs without anybody, you know, guiding you, imagine when there's someone.
So he had it. He had the
he
music.
had it
The music. What was the music sounding like?
Auto-tune.
Okay.
Like it was so auto-tuned, man. But then that's how they knew how to, or that's how they wanted to. Because Wiz was singing, he sounded like a pop star. He wasn't making like the usual records that were being made at the time.
Yeah.
So he was jumping on beats that, like, I remember, you know, we used to listen to a lot of Rock City back then, because there were always all these songs that Rock City used to put out, you know. Sean Kingston.
Yeah.
So his sound at the time was very Sean Kingston like. Yeah. And it was weird to see a young artist do that. Like not a lot of artists were doing that. Like it was just weird. So we what was the first, like he used to record at OJB studio, yeah. So what he used to do was wait. So let's say Two-Face has a 8-hour session.
Yeah.
Or somebody has an 8-hour session. There's no way they're using 8 hours. Even at Night House, that's what we used to do. Hang around, like wait for artists who have booked 8-hour like sessions. They never finish their sessions. So like while they're working, we're in the back, Wiz is writing.
Yeah.
So that once there's like a free, Gomez will come and say, okay, there's 30 minutes or there's 1 hour. Then we go in there.
Which of the Gomez is this? You've mentioned him twice.
Temitope Gomez.
Temi Gomez.
Okay,
cool.
Gomi. Yeah, Gomi is actually one of my closest friends.
I know him. I just wanted to make sure that it was his name you were calling.
Yeah, that's my ride or die. Like we ride or we ride.
I think
There's no ride or die.
I think he's a great guy.
He's an amazing guy. He's the one. So the first version of how Banky met Wiz. So there was this gig.
But before we get to Banky and Wiz, so I was just you wanted to link it back to him writing in the studio then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll go to it. But basically, like, so Wiz, the way that he wrote music or the way that he recorded music, he would always listen to whatever changes. Like he would do, like, there's nothing that you would suggest to Wiz that he wouldn't try.
Yeah. He
would try it. If it works, then we keep it. If it doesn't work, then he will suggest something else. Like, so just seeing that, like Wiz, like Grammys, like someone said, oh, why isn't he posting Grammy? I'm like, do you think Wiz did not think he would be nominated for a Grammy?
True.
Do you think it's surprising for him?
True.
It's like, what next? Do you think he did not think that he would have a song like Essence at some point in his career?
Sure.
Like he's been ready for these things since like 2008 at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so that happened. When did Banky meet him? When?
So many. So when I was working, so Kel.
Okay, how did you move him to Banky? How did you become aligned with Banky?
So Kel, amazing rapper, first artist I ever managed. Worked with her. Like Clarence had decided to start a label, and then Kel was the first artist.
Yeah.
So we used to we're always at Night House Studio or at shows or whatever. So Clarence had gotten me this dead ass camera, but then it was amazing. I think the camera we used to shoot in SD or something.
Yeah.
So I used to every time we go to Night House, I just make videos of Wiz, videos of Ice Prince, anyone who was recording. I just record because Clarence wanted me to learn also either how to create documentaries or how to edit or whatever. So there was this one video. Ayo, we plug good music in the UK.
Yeah.
Has sent me
Nice
this beat.
guy.
Yeah, gigs. We went to school together. So all of these things we used to talk about it
That's a good guy.
Yeah.
That's a good person. He supports me.
Yeah. So he had sent me this song by Gigs. I can't remember what the song was, but the beat, he had sent it to me and said, "Oh, it's becoming a big thing in the UK. Everyone's jumping on it. I think that Kel or anyone at Night House should jump on it." Yeah. So there was a version with Kel and MI and Gomi.
Yeah.
Because Gomi
was
was a rapper.
Then. Okay.
Othello, that was his hip hop name.
Othello.
Yeah, he's on the song with Mo Cheddar self.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know now.
And the second one was now Wiz, Jesse, and Ice Prince. So it's the guys, the Dons, and then new school guys. So I posted the video, the Wizkid part on Facebook. Yeah. Moved on from that. Just posted just to get everyone excited or whatever. So now Wiz started to back Kel up at her shows. Then we go to do this show at Green Springs where
Kel would have a show and Wiz would be the backup artist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're doing that one to build his stage performance, stage presence, get people to even know him. Yeah. And all that. And he would always sing, what's that song? Wow, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would sing the hook and everything. And then we went to perform at this show at Green Springs. And after the show, Banky had performed, Emma had performed. And Banky's like, "Oh, let's go to Shegun, let's go back to Shegun's house. Let's just go have drinks, hang out." And we all went. So I went to drop my footage from my camera at Clarence's studio. And when I came back, everyone's just going on and on about Wiz. So apparently, Emma knew who Wiz was. Because he's been there from the jump.
Yeah.
So I think he wanted to grab a charger for his BlackBerry or something. So he said, "Wiz, help me." And then Banky goes, "Wait, are you the Wizkid from Facebook? Are you the Wizkid in this video on Facebook?" And
that was it.
That was it.
Huh. So how did that change that situation? Because you just described quite the image of you finding an artist, not knowing what to do with the artist, but knowing that there was greatness in him. You were so determined to bring out this greatness.
I just wanted everyone to hear him.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't know what to do, but I knew that if
you put him in a lot of more spaces and everybody could hear him,
they see him,
magic could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Banky hearing him, and then he's like, "Okay, I want to work with you."
Yeah.
How did that situation change?
They gave us, I think it was 50 or 60K to go record new music.
So instantly at that moment or later?
Yeah, we want to sign you, but let's go make music. Let's hear what you can do. And then
they gave you 50 or 60K.
50 or 60K, yeah. Then we went everywhere. We first went to the studio, one of the studios where he used to record. I forgot what it was on. It's that road called Eric. No, not Eric Moore. What's that one with the NYC campus? Babs Anima Sound. There was a studio on Babs Anima Sound. I don't remember the name of the studio. So we went there. He recorded with VTech, VD.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're ready. He recorded this song called Holla at Your Boy. And we're ready. We're so ready.
So Holla at Your Boy came from that 50K.
Yeah. Then we went to play it for Gomez. This is we recorded the biggest song in the world and we're about to go, play it for Banky. And then Gomez said, "Please, don't even try it. This is the quickest way out, to lose Banky's interest and everything. Bring Wiz back on so and so day I'll get DJ Clem from Ibadan to come and record. DJ Clem was also part of Testify Records, by the way.
What were you guys? Yeah, Clem, great guy. He's also a good person. He supports me to this day. What was in Holla at Your Boy that you people saw and knew it was good?
It was the hook. It was very catchy. And then the fact that what he was saying was so relatable for a kid his age.
Okay.
You know. So we went back to the studio.
I'm just trying to pull up Holla at Your Boy.
Yeah. Gomez changed the entire, like, directing Wiz and Clem. They changed, like, if you hear the original version of that song and what you guys finally heard, it's like
very different.
Yeah.
So they didn't tell him to come back to make a new song. They knew
Gomez said this one, like this Holla at Your Boy. There was Now Who Gets there was Holla at Your Boy. There was another one, but anyways, so we made that song, and then that same night they recorded Giddy Girl in one night. Holla at Your Boy and Giddy Girl in one night. Yeah. He did so many takes.
What did he eat that night? Because
I don't even remember.
I want to eat it too.
I don't even remember, but it was just Gomez pushing, like the way Gomez pushed him that night, bro. Like it was Gomez pushing Clem, like directing everything that everyone was doing. Okay, pronounce this like this. Pronounce it again. Say it again.
Yeah.
Again. And then Wiz wasn't tired. Like, that's what I loved about him. Like, he wanted to learn so much. Like, he would do it over and over and over and
no matter
over.
How many times they demanded from him.
Yeah. As long as, you know.
As long as the art gets better.
Yeah. Then they did Giddy Girl. Then we went back and that was it. Then Banky got him on. The night we took the music to him, that same night, he wanted him to write a verse for Omoge You Too Much. Yeah. So that was, and after he recorded his verse, and when he recorded his verse, like if the contract was ready, the moment he was done, that was the day he was signing.
Everybody knew.
Like that was it.
What was in? Why were they convinced after that Omoge You Too Much? Why were they convinced? What was happening in that room?
Have you heard any artists, like, imagine the time that you heard Omoge You Too Much? Do you remember that verse?
Yes, I do.
Girl, you fine, I swear me, no.
I see, I love it.
Is there any artist in that time that sounded like that or who sing like that in this Nigeria?
No.
Do you get? So
nobody had that thing.
And when you heard it, you knew that he was different.
Yeah. From the very first time I ever heard Wiz, and that's the thing he had with everybody. Once you hear him, you could tell that there was something special here. Mm-hmm. Even if you can't put the finger on it, you just knew that this was different. Mm-hmm.
And then he knows. Like, he would tell me, like, Sags, this is going to work, this is not going to work.
Yeah. I
always say, like, I need to listen to Wiz more. Because if I listen to Wiz more, and I've worked with less artists than I have in my entire career. Because when he meets artists, he knows if this person is just doing this for fame and fortune, or if this person actually fucks with the music, you know. And he would tell me, say this one. 1 year. Let's see, 1 year. And lo and behold.
So he had that uncanny
He still has it. He still has it.
Yeah, he does. Because even now, when you see him work with people, the people he works with, the people he invites into his camp and everything, he invites originals.
He sees everything and listens to everything.
He invites only originals. I've never seen Wiz work with someone that isn't in it for it. Never. I've never seen him work with a hustler. It's always artists.
Art. Yeah. So yeah. so that was like you would have known if you had met him. Then if you had seen him, then you'd have just known that, okay, this was different.
So that night the contract was given to him.
No. I was just like, if the contract was ready, like that would have been the night.
And then but for you yourself, you know, knowing that you picked up an artist when nobody believed, you sacrificed for him, you even ran with him when you were trying to recuperate from such a ghastly accident. What did that mean for you, finally finding, as a manager, meeting people who were willing to put money into your dream?
Not just the money. I think just even because there's so much that I learned from Segun Demure and so much that I learned from Tunde and Banky.
Yeah.
Segun used to have these conversations with us where he'd ask us to come to the house maybe like 4 p.m. Then the chef would make food for us. Jigga would relax.
Yeah.
Then the meeting will start till like maybe 9 p.m. And then when the meeting starts, it's like lectures about, hip hop in New York, about Biggie, Tupac, like some foundational stuff that I would never have had. Jigga, like would never. There's nobody in this. Like there's nobody that have ever told us those things or taught all those things. The first time I ever heard talent is not enough, talent and discipline over everything. Like talent it was from Shego, like things like that. So, for me, it was just it was a learning curve, a very important learning curve for me.
Yeah.
Because now it's finally within a space where, yes, there was money to fund certain things, but then there were also people who were willing to share from their experiences and the knowledge that they had about the music business.
Yeah.
So stuff like performance riders, performance contracts, the processes and protocols of booking an artist. I learned at EME.
Okay.
Yeah. Putting structure to like a PR campaign or a marketing campaign or whatever.
You learned it from there too. Oh, those are very fundamental things that anyone who works in this space, whether even when you're managing an artist or you're managing anything else, as long as you're in this space, you'd have to know those things.
You'd be surprised.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. I'm curious about everything. So that happened. What was the road to the album like for you? Was that your first album you were releasing with an artist?
The Road to Superstar?
Yes.
Oh yeah, was that the first album? No, it was the second.
What was the first?
Skales, The Investment.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one, and it was a very interesting project.
That was like a year before or 2 years before Superstar.
It was like a year before, I think. It was the same year. I don't remember. I need to get my dates. Yeah, but it was before. So Superstar was 20. What year was Superstar?
Superstar was 20. Let me check, Joey.
Google.
I'm looking at it here.
It was 10 last year. It was 2011.
2011. Yeah, that's what it says. Even on Apple, even on the streaming
platforms. Yeah, 2011. So that means the investment was 2010.
Yeah.
Because Accident was 2008. Yeah, it was 2010, 2011. Yeah, 2011. So it was the second one, but it was the one with, I think. It was the first mainstream
project that you were working on.
Yeah, because we even did the launch party at Eco Hotel.
Okay, how was the road to that album? Like what happened when you decided to work? When you guys decided to work on a project?
What happened? I think we had put out like different things. Oh, by the way, I got into trouble for Holla at Your Boy, for Tease Me and Dondo.
You leaked 4 of them?
Yeah, the 3 of them, because they were all not released at like with actual. Jesus, I just realized I just confessed on the show because I swear to God,
she did it. People.
I never admitted it.
She did it.
I never admitted this shit, man. But anyways, yeah, because we didn't understand structure. We didn't understand why we had to wait for so long when we had such great music, and everywhere we would go, all our friends, everyone that would hear it, would be like, when is this coming out? I want this song.
Yeah.
But anyways, it got to a point where Shego was like, it's album time. We need to prepare, like get ready for the album.
But before the album, what song had convinced you guys that you guys
Dondo.
Dondo was doing the numbers.
Yeah. All 3 songs were doing, but then Dondo was just like the peak. Dondo never had a video.
Yeah, but it was one. It had the best reaction.
Yeah, like it was so loud. It was so viral. Like it got so big in such little time. Like it's like, you know what, we're ready for the album. Like it didn't make any sense to drop another single. It had to be an album. And when he started to record the album, I think the first set of recordings that he did, I'm trying to remember if it was with E. Kelly or with Jay Slick. I don't remember. But then, when the songs started to come in, we kind of like just knew that these were the records that were going to make the album. The very last song, where he goes, Shout out to my real niggas, gonna make you big. Oh,
Yeah.
that was the last song he recorded, and I don't think it wasn't even meant to be, but he recorded it and it was such a vibe. So we're like, you know what, let's just put it and use it to end the project. Yeah.
And then that's this record. Let me see.
I think it's called Shout Out.
Shout out, yes, that's the song he gave everybody.
Yeah.
I say young boy in the ghetto. Them tell me say we no go go. I say young boy in the ghetto. Them tell me we no go do shit. Now that know me star boy. Child boy, I'm better than them by far.
Yeah, I can see why you guys thought this was a vibe. Yeah, and then you close the album with it. But on the road to the album, was there any moment where you guys knew this was a classic? Like, when you guys were recording, like, did you know it had this impact in its pouch?
Yeah, like, so I don't think that there was ever like okay guys, we're in album mode, so we're recording from January 1st to March 30th or whatever, recording the album. It was just like, guys, the album is next. So your next set of recordings, you know, are all considerations for the album. So it was all these like different sessions with different producers. Sam Clef, Mastercraft, because he'd even met Sam Clef when Skales had introduced him to Sam Clef when we the day we made Tease Me.
Yeah.
And the spot where they made that song was it was underneath some stairs in some place in Oregon, so very
Wasn't it
dingy
trenches?
like, bro.
Was it trenches?
Serious trenches. But yeah, they made 2 songs. There's one song that was really big in Abuja called Orimi.
Yeah.
Orimi Ogbagbo. Like,
Yeah.
that song was never released as a single anywhere. But yeah, those are the 2 songs that they made under the stairs in that place that day. So yeah, there wasn't like, it was just Wiz, you know, finding his sound and then, you know, putting together a body of work.
Yeah.
Sam Clef, J Slick, E. Kelly. I'm trying to remember if Mastercraft was on this project, but Mastercraft used to work with Banky at the time, and I know that Wiz and Skales were always excited, you know, to still like to sit with them and sit with him and work with him. I'm trying to remember who else produced on that project, but yeah, like those songs were like the defining moment for him. Like he can't, like, yeah, Mastercraft was on that project. He produced one of the biggest songs, No Lele.
Yeah, No Lele.
Yeah, actually, I just remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for Wiz, like working on that project, working on the rehearsals for the show, like the album launch,
Yeah.
was kind of like the moment, like such an important moment for him, where he kind of like knew that, yes, so everything, all my dreams have been valid, you know, to this point. Now I have to get it. Like, I have to get everything right now. There's no going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no going back to OJB studio waiting for a session. There's no going back to Night House.
Yeah.
You know, it's like forward. We even had tried to work with SARS, but we couldn't afford SARS at the time. Yeah.
SARS was always it.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
And then project dropped. The night the project dropped, the day it dropped. How
June
was
12th.
that day? June 12th. How was that day?
I think it would have been different now in 2022. Like, would have been waiting at midnight because would have waited to see playlist updates.
Yeah.
Would have waited to see the song on all the stores. Like, you know.
How was it released? Like, in terms of like, what did the release look like?
So at the time, like, so we made I think we broke a record for the amount that we had sold the album to the marketer in Alaba for an artist who had no albums out before, you know, a very new artist. And I can't remember how much it was that we got, but I know that it was record. Like, people didn't even believe that that's the amount that we got. And that was the amount we got. Yeah, so how was it released? I don't know, by morning, people had it on their, like, people could buy the CDs, you know, the blogs that uploaded the album had uploaded it for free downloads, you know, it was just everywhere. You know, and then, yeah, it was actually on iTunes and Apple Music from the jump.
And then
CD Baby.
And then the reaction. When
the reaction was
started
wild.
coming.
The reaction was wild because now it wasn't just Don't Do. It was like every fucking song on the project. You know, every single song. Like, even the songs that we didn't, you know, even my least favorites, you know, if you had listened to your least favorite, there was someone else who was in love with it and couldn't get over it. You know, it was wild. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was my first year in school, university. Then that was 2011. I think my first or second year. I know I was still early in school, and I bought this project not because I've always loved music. That's why I'm even still here. I like music, the very art of it. So I from time to time I just go around when I get my pocket money, when I could hustle money out. I always pass by CD spots and just buy a lot of them. I just pack so much, and put at home and then play. That's the only thing I had. That while reading a book, 2 things I enjoy. And Wizkid was one of them. Like, who be this boy? Because people in school then, people that had come from Lagos. This was in Akwa Ibom. So people that had come from Lagos then, there was a guy, Victor. He was in Lagos. He lived in Aguda. Because when I moved to Lagos, I went to visit him in Aguda.
In Aguda.
Yes. And he was always like, Wizkid. He's a very passionate guy. Wizkid. I'm like, He said, you like Wizkid? I said, who be this Wizkid? So on my way back from school, I was in the trenches too. So I was trekking home. So but I had enough money for music, but not enough to pay 50 naira for keke.
Like if I had 500 naira and you tell me that, okay, these CDs now are 500 naira, I'll calculate, okay, I'll probably buy the CDs for 400 naira, buy Gala and Coke or Lacasera and Gala. Yes. With the remaining 100 naira. So and I'll trek with my CDs.
So that's what happened. I bought the CD, went home. I had this little player that the pastor had given me as a gift for my matriculation. And and then I slotted it in. It was in my room. I was living in church then even. I was living in church in Akwa Ibom. And
you're playing Wizkid in church.
Well, you know, you got to give Caesar his due. So I played it and it sounded so different. It felt like I had fallen in love at first listen.
I think even the producers on the project, you know, knew that he was different.
Okay.
So the music, the sounds that they were producing, because it worked with other artists, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't similar to what they were doing with Wiz, even till today. I think with Wiz, you kind of like just, like for producers, when they're in sessions or when they meet artists that have they know.
Yeah.
So it even inspires what they create, you know, with the artist. You know, it like with him, it was like everyone who worked on that project, even with the engineer. And I even remember when we're mixing and mastering that project with Zeno Foster, he had asked for Banky to come in with Wiz to retake certain notes and lines and do certain backups and ad libs on the record. You know, like it was all just different.
Okay, so Wiz happened, the split. Why'd you guys split? You guys are such a good team.
We're still guys. Wiz my guy.
Yeah, of course. They're still. I'm not talking about the relationship. I'm talking about like then.
I think at the point, like, so there's.
Then he had become big. He had become like the early version of popular Wizkid.
What's that thing that Timaya always says? 10 friends cannot be friends for 10 years.
Yeah.
What's that thing here?
Yeah, 10 friends cannot be friends for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, when did you know that you guys were no longer going to work together in the format that you guys were working together at that point?
No, we actually made the decision together on his birthday in 2012.
Why? Why did it get there?
So I wanted, the dream was never ever to manage one artist. Like I said, when all of this started for me, I was trying to figure out how to sell music. To sell music, I needed artists, labels to trust me.
Yeah.
And how could I build their trust? You know, I had to do something that was, I had to build a reputation doing something in music business that could, you know, build or get their trust and whatnot.
And so Wizkid's campaign showed?
Yeah, no, but then so at the time I started to work with, at that time I was already working with Shady, because EME had now signed Shady, Skales, Neola. So I had started to work with Shady, Skales, Neola. I had a company called Metal Music and Everything. Yeah,
that was the first company I know. I spoke with you around Metal.
Yeah, and that's one of my first tattoos actually. Oh, nice.
That's a beautiful. Let me see.
Yeah.
That's it.
I couldn't stay still, so it's messed up towards
That's a beautiful tattoo.
Yeah, I have a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah, anyways. So but he at the time, like, there was we had already been to LA. We'd already done our first gig in London. We had already done our first US tour. Our first headline, our first like two. We'd headlined like a few shows. We had headlined our own show in the UK. So things were getting to a point where he needed, a lot more attention. Like one person is focused on him.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to let go of everything because in my head I'm thinking about all the other managers before me. I was so focused on one artist, and after focusing on one artist, the artist wakes up and says, "I'm done," and then they go back to. Some of them never recover. Like some of them never recovered. A lot of them like from that time have never recovered. They've never started working like. It just I don't want to call names.
Yeah, people never get it back when they invest so much in an artist.
Yeah, so I didn't.
Leave.
Yeah, I never wanted to be that one person. So I was excited that like I've gone from Kel. There's Wiz, who's doing amazing. There's these other guys. It could be them. It could be anyone else. But I don't want to be, tied here. So I think it was just in that moment. Yeah, when he texted me when he sent me that text, he sent a broadcast. I think that's why I got mad. Because I was fine. We had the conversation. It was fine. And then he sends a broadcast. And then I just I just went crazy.
What made you angry about the podcast?
Because I was like, you're spilling our shit everywhere. Yeah. Wiz was like my best friend. Like he's still like the way that even till now, like when we see, it's like when you see both of us, it's like we're together yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It feels like it looks like these guys must talk every day, but we probably talk like twice a year or once a year.
But it's that way with people. We'll come up from the trenches together.
These trenches.
Yes, you guys are in the trenches.
Yeah, I guess. So there's like so much history.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like he can see me somewhere and he knows exactly how I feel about being in that place. Like I can see him somewhere in the midst of, and I know, like, Wiz is trying to get out of here in like 2 seconds.
Nice. And working with him, what did that do for you in regards to the rest of the industry?
I think for me, like, I think it was a blessing first to work with an artist that was very sure of who he was or where he was going to.
Yeah.
Even at a very young age, like he was sure that somehow, some way, number one, even if it's not next year, even if it's not in 2 years, even if it's not in 5 years or 6 years, he would be number one. He knew that he had to work to it. He wasn't going to sit around and wait for someone to come and hand number one to him. He was ready to fight for whatever, so he would, like,
he went
trenches behavior. But anyways, yeah, for me, like, I think one, like I said, was a blessing working with him, because then it kind of like set the, would I say the tone, or like, so with everyone that I work with. So it's the same thing. So when I sit with someone in 3 minutes, I know.
Yeah.
I know if you're doing this just to be another Wiz, or if you're trying to do this to become the first of your kind. Also showed me the difference between talent and discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because talent is nothing without discipline.
There's a lot of talent.
Like so many. There's like how many studios on the island today? And I'm sure in everyone that we go to, we'll find amazing music.
Yeah. But talent has to produce results, and results can only be made via discipline.
Fam.
Cool.
Yeah, but
so after Wiz, you launched Metal, and things you started moving.
Metal existed even while with Wiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after Wiz, you
kind of like just refocused on, focused my attention on another artist. Yeah.
Okay. Skales, Shake Body.
Yeah, that was the other artist.
Yes. I remember then. I remember having a conversation. I remember then in when did Shake Body blow? 2014. I remember having a conversation with you trying to interview Skales back then.
What'd I tell you?
In 2014. Yes.
What'd I tell you?
Yeah, no, you gave me access to Skales. I remember sitting behind the office then at Pulse and having this. Then I was younger then. I think I was like 22, 23 back then. And
please, how old are you now, Joey?
I turned 30 in October.
How did you get to 30?
It's shocking, right? I used to be this kid.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's saying 22 in my head. I'm like, 22. That's like 2 years ago or something.
Well, yeah. I'm old now.
Yeah.
And I started branding myself as an elder in this industry also before they begin to insult me.
Even though you're almost 32.
Yes, now I'm 30 now. I'm not a child, and 30 is young per se. But I've done this since I was 21.
You've been on the road, man.
Yeah, I've been on the road since I was 19, 20, 21. So I feel old. Yeah, very old in this game.
I can imagine.
So when I talk to people, I say, 9 years ago, I had this interview with that 9 years ago.
I'm looking at you like,
yes.
I know.
So I remember then you helped me get that interview. I had the interview on the phone, and then when I was done, went into the office there and started typing. Yes. And that was around
everything else.
That was around Shake Body, around that period. And then you had gotten arrested also.
Oh, then that's 2016.
26. Okay, you got arrested later in 2016. Yeah. So I remember then nobody cared about Skales. Skales was people knew him as this rapper from EME back then. They knew he was Wizkid's foil. A lot of his career was spoken in relation to Wizkid, or how people considered it was always tied to Wizkid. Shake Body changed that. So you picked up an artist at the point when, or rather, you've been working with this artist for a while, and then at that point he was released by the label. Then, according to what he shared on social, he found refuge with Timaya then. And what were you thinking at that point? You know, you were in charge of this person that was publicly going through it.
2013 was pretty much, his contract had come to an end. Again, I had that one of those moments where it was like the same cycle and I wanted something different. So I had tendered my resignation as well, like from EME, and then we decided to go on the road together. I think that a lot of people didn't and still don't understand Skales. Skales is actually an amazing artist.
He is.
In the real sense of the word.
He is.
Artist. I remember trying to get him on EME, and because EME, they wanted a rapper. And there was this show, Sound City, I can't remember what it was. It was at Ocean View. And then he was the first artist to come out and perform. And then the sound, like his CD, obviously maybe he had burnt that CD like months ago and had used the same CD for like 100 different shows between Kaduna, Abuja, Jos, and Lagos. And like, by the way, he used to come to Lagos on a bus. So imagine spending like 18 hours trying to come to Lagos. So he'd come to Lagos for this same show and got to the show, and then his CD wasn't playing. And then his manager at the time was trying to get the music to play, and then he just goes on the mic and is like, they shouldn't bother. And then he goes on to perform Heading for a Grammy from beginning to end, a cappella. Whoa. And when he was done, everyone was saying, I'm heading for a Grammy, one man army, the hit must be felt from Abuja to Miami. Like, it was wild. Ocean View was like outdoors, like they had the stage outdoors and everything. And that was the moment. Shegun's like, that's the guy.
So Shegun was in the crowd.
Yeah, he was in the crowd. He was in the crowd. That was the moment. So even there's a song called We's Party.
Yeah.
Baby, it was a dream, but I know that part of the song.
Yeah.
Was written by Skales.
Nice.
Like the verse, like that whole verse, you know, and then Wiz's input comes in from, it's true, the girls, they love me, why me? But everything up until that part is Skales. And there was never a second verse. Yeah. Because that song was actually never supposed to come out. We don't even know how it came out. That was Ike, that wasn't me. That was Ike's production, and we had recorded at an EXO studio. But anyways, Skales is actually an amazing artist, but then I think because he was signed as a rapper, it didn't make sense when he now started to sing. Yeah. You know, but then.
But did you encourage the singing?
He's been singing, and I didn't think it was hectic for me because in my head I'm like, bro, they signed you as a rapper. Please rap. Yeah. You know, you need to keep rapping so that we can stay signed. You know, and then when you start singing, because they signed a singer, it now looks like you're trying to compete with the other guy, and then you know you're losing all of the attention that can come to you. But I'll tell you what, like out here, we didn't realize like Mukulu. Yeah. In the US, like Mukulu was such a huge song. Take Care of Me. There's this other song. Like Skales had, like, because we didn't have access to take for example stuff like Apple Music for artists, YouTube Studio, Spotify for artists, like all the the tools for analytics
the
and everything.
dashboards and the back ends.
We didn't know these things, so it's when we started to travel, thanks to Shake Body, that we're traveling because we think we're going to perform Shake Body, and then everyone is yelling Mukulu Mukulu, and then we're looking like, do you get? But out here, we're thinking, who's this Wiz wannabe, you know? But like, I think that his true artistry hasn't even been put on display.
Yeah.
Like for Skales, I think that now there's just a lot more focus on finding hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to, you know, the actual music of the artistry and everything. And I think that that's where everyone gets it confused when it comes to Skales.
So with Shake Body, what happened?
I remember the first time I heard Shake Body, I didn't even listen. Like, I didn't even, because it was so different from, you know, Skales, like totally different. And he was recording because we had just left EM, he had been recording. And then it was his birthday. Where he was staying with some friends who had just come into the country. So he was literally squatting with them at this apartment that they were in, and he had a poolside. So it was his birthday. So we're all there. Another conversation. Well, I'm going to leave that one for my book. Okay. That happened the same day of the birthday. And then the song came on. Like, I don't even know. I don't know if it was a producer, if it was him, if it was JP's, or if it was him, or if it was someone else. But then they played the song, and everybody there, like, out of the music industry, his friends from Leeds City University, like guys that were just there, were dancing, and then they said, play it again. And we just looked at each other and said, this is next though.
Yeah.
This is the one, and then we started.
Someone had given it to the DJ on the night?
There was no DJ. It wasn't a club who had money to go to club. We're just at somebody's apartments. Okay. The guys had come to Niger, we were staying at the apartment, and then he just decided to have a party by the pool. Yeah. We're not even plenty. I don't think we're up to 20 people there. But then the reaction was just crazy because it wasn't like music industry people. It was like his friends. You get regular people, like his friends from uni, and all that. And that was like just watching them react to it, not even knowing. And then they all got excited when it was like, oh, it's Skales. Yeah. And then we dropped it. That blew up real quick.
Instantly.
Like it blew up real quick.
Instantly.
Like,
it was really fast.
Like real quick. Like we didn't even have money for a video. I don't know if he's ever said this. Olamide called him and asked him why he hasn't shot a video, and then sent him money for the video.
Wow, nice. Yeah. Beautiful.
The money wasn't even enough to get like a big time director or whatever. We got his friend, his childhood friend from Kaduna, Stan's Visuals, you know, came in to shoot the video. I got Unlimited LA to stop by the video just to watch, and then he noticed some things on the camera, changed it. Unlimited LA is like my day one. He and his partner at MSAYC Productions made the t-shirts in Holla at Your Boy, by the way. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So that blew up real quick. Got signed to Baseline. Yeah. And like everything just went up for him from there.
In all of this, like managing artists and, you know, going on the road with these people and connecting your life with another individual's life.
It's I don't know, it's so weird.
It is.
Sometimes it feels like jazz.
Yeah, it is. So in situations where it's jazz. I see it as jazz. Yeah, because
sometimes you look back and you're like, bro, did I just do that? I remember, so there was when we dropped Skales' album, Man of the Year, in 2016, or no, 2015. I remember Moyo Shomadi and I, we had metal together. Like on the day of that, like the day before the show, we were going to cancel because we had run out of money.
Moya, is it okay? Where's Moya? I've not seen her in a while.
Like every single
I've not seen her in a while. Where's she?
Like all the shows that you saw in December were probably produced by her.
Yeah. Nice. You see, people never leave this game. So people never leave this game. I know she's in the game, but
you just don't know where yet.
I've not seen her. Yeah, but I've not seen her in person in a while.
She is. So we had no money. We couldn't, like the day before we were done. Like, the only way it would have been money was if we went to stand at Sanusi Full House somewhere. Like, we're done. Like, we're stretched out. Like, we're so broke. Like, our accounts, like the company accounts, personal accounts, like all done. Like, those were one of the moments where you ask yourself, like, is this juju? Yeah. Like, is this really?
True.
Like, how did I get here?
But then,
yeah.
for you, having to show, being the manager, there's always this expectation of leadership from you.
We can't stop. We have to keep going.
So how do you now, for an artist who's dejected, someone who has seen, for an artist that's dejected, someone who's seen the world like move against them, or the world, or they have to swim against a stronger tide. How do you now inspire that artist to keep going? Because even you said you don't have the energy.
No inspiration.
You don't have the energy.
But
How
then-
do you now have to make another person move when
then
you
you-
yourself you don't want to move?
In that moment, like, bro, like, that's such a... I don't even know how to answer this question, because, fam, I think that's where true passion now comes in.
Yeah.
True purpose, like your why, like, actually comes in, because I don't know how it happens. I've been in so many situations like that, and it's weird. Like, I meet artists who say to me that, oh, do you remember when it was you, what you said to me that got me through? I'm like, what did I say? I probably needed help at the time, so how was I helping you? So I don't know if I can put I don't know how to answer that, to be honest, but it just happens.
Yeah.
Because I think in those moments, it's like, for a human being, not just an artist, to come to you and say, I am about to give up, or this shit doesn't make sense. I think you just know that if you agree with this person now, then you're both going down together.
True.
So if one person is going down, you have to, even if there is no strength, it makes no absolute fucking sense. You have to try to lift the other
them
person up.
yes.
Yeah, artist or no artist or whoever. And I think that's pretty much what it always all boils down to.
Then who lifts you up? Because you're in the same trenches with them.
When people say check on your closest friends or check on your friends, no, check on your strongest friends. Yeah, like people, like it gets very lonely. So remember what I told you about January 2020.
Yeah.
I think it was like that. It's one of those moments where you just, I feel like that a lot of times, to be honest. I feel like I give more than I get.
Yeah.
I also never ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm terrible. I'm very terrible at that.
here.
I also
Same
never
here.
ask. Yeah. But I've been blessed with a great support system. Like, it's weird, the guys who look out for me, like, it's so weird. Like Uche, obviously by default, but then the guys who would randomly just hit me up from the blue, like, yeah. But I think that God looks out for me, ultimately. So that's why people would remember me. But then I don't think sometimes you even expect anyone to come, looking out for you, lifting you up or anything. Because at the end of the day, is God, Sha.
Yes.
It's all God.
It is. And you've been doing this for so long.
I've never actually, like, you see why I'm so, like, it feels like I'm stuttering or like I'm stunned.
Yeah.
Because I never thought about it like.
Yeah, because you look out for people. Who looks out for you? Who takes
God.
care of the carer?
God.
And you've done this for so long. And in what way has management changed over the years? Especially in Nigeria. Now we have Afrobeats to the world. We have a lot of tools. We have a lot.
Knowledge, information, access. Like, yeah.
In what way has it changed the art of managing?
In Nigeria, because there was never really, I think that in Nigeria, like, everything that has happened to date, like from the time that I came in, the guys like myself, Godwin Tom, who else? Even Abuchi, like we're all like the newcomers back then. Abuchi, Moyo, I'm trying to think of someone else. Lanre Lawal.
Yeah.
I forget a lot of names now. Yeah, but at the time, I think that there wasn't any structure. There wasn't any actual definition of who your manager was. So at the time, you were the personal road business manager, PR. What else? A&R.
You were a Swiss knife.
You guess, like anyone that needs
to pop out, you have to bring it out of yourself.
Exactly. I think so. First off, in that way, it's changed because there's a lot more. It's a lot more defined. We know now. There's still no school in Nigeria that teaches you about music business or the different parts of music business, or that it's like artists telling an artist that, oh, you need a lawyer, you have to have a lawyer.
But that's what Godwin Tom is building now.
Now, yeah, and it's taking him going from being an artist to becoming a manager to this point.
Yeah.
Do you get? And then it's Godwin Tom. It's a country of how many people? It's a continent of how many people?
Yeah.
Do you get? And like I was saying to you earlier, like I traveled to about 5 countries recently for work.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how most of these countries are like 8 years ago in Nigeria.
Yeah.
15 years ago in Nigeria.
Yes.
It's like it doesn't make any sense that that's still like some of the things that are happening in these countries
That we even take for granted.
Bro, like I'm telling you. So like it's a lot different now in management in Nigeria. Even the artists understand who what their manager is supposed to do. They understand the kinds of teams that they need to have.
Yeah.
Before they sign record deals, they kind of like know what the expectations, what roles they play as artists, are like. There's a lot more information. There's a lot more access. It's a lot more. It's a bit healthier now.
Yeah.
But then, even with all this information, people will still. I think there's also so there's always good and bad parts.
Yeah.
So there's the part of artists still getting preyed on by managers who know better.
Yeah. Or
labels who know better, and then you find this amazing kid who doesn't know anything. Yeah.
In a very funny situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So compared to when I started out, there's a lot. Even if there's still no structure now, but then it's a lot better. I think just having access to information, having access to opportunities and roles that can help you grow or learn with experience is a lot more than.
But would you do it again?
This?
Yeah,
I do it again,
management.
I do it again, but I do it a lot differently.
In what way?
Jump. First, I don't think I'd be as emotionally invested as I've been, because I think as much as that's my people say that that's like my greatest or my best quality, the quality that I love the most, but it's also one of the qualities that I dislike the most about myself, how much I actually care, because I've been served shit like so many times. Yeah.
So I want to go into like where you're at now and how amazing that is. But before then, we've skirted around you being arrested.
Do we want to talk about that though?
Okay, we'll put it in the book.
So I'll just talk about it real quick. Yeah, it was just I think what it was just a power play. Yeah. No, not that I think. It was just a power play because I didn't do anything wrong, and I was going to be kept in that cell until I signed off from being Skales' manager.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why didn't you sign?
I signed by the next day. The next day I'm like, yo, where's the documents? Like, fam. Not because I was.
That's a mafia. That's a mafia move, man.
It's a very weird story, but like, let's just leave it at that.
Okay, we'll put it in the book.
Pause.
So that happened, and now you've done work. I want to talk about Timaya, but I want to talk about Timaya also with what you are doing with. Like your role at ONErpm. Streaming for you, why did you take up the ONErpm job?
So from the moment we left, like I stopped working with EME. I think one of the things that I was never privy to was like digital.
Yeah.
Like learning how music distribution worked. So I remember one time when we dropped Shake Body, we had used TuneCo. Like we had used the DIY service.
Yeah. But then they're in the country now. They're in Nigeria now. I spoke with their director, the Nigerian director.
Nice. Anyways, so we had used it, and then someone in the States had sent me a screenshot to say, not even in the States, I think someone here had sent me a screenshot to say, because I didn't even have the app, I wasn't using an iPhone, and like, oh, how did you get the banner? I'm like, I have no freaking idea. So everyone used to message like, "Oh, you guys got the banner? How did you?" So I was always curious, Then I started to learn. I've always known how to. I had a YouTube channel once where I used to upload music videos.
Yeah.
In like between 2007 to 2010.
Yeah.
Like every artist that Clarence would shoot for, their videos would be on my YouTube because nobody knew how. I didn't even know how to create another channel for an artist. Yeah. You get more. So I always knew about YouTube. I was just curious about, how things work. So over time, from when we left EME, I had messed with like different DIY services, just trying to understand, learn how digital music distribution worked. And I think it was in the process of all of like I don't want to say in the process, the hunger for understanding or figuring out why and how this works is how I got into the ONErpm conversation. Because even with ONErpm, the first conversation was for Timaya's catalog. And then a few months after that, I got offered the job.
Why did you take it?
So like I said,
Because it's such a huge shift from what you've always done.
Yeah, and I wanted.
Even when I heard it, I'm like, I celebrated for you because I knew I did the research for the company and who they were and everything. But I'm like, why is she making such a fundamental shift?
Yeah, and it was such a huge decision for me because one, I didn't think I could do it, and I just didn't want to do it because prior to ONErpm, I could choose the artists that I speak to that I give access to me, but now ONErpm is like everyone.
Yeah.
Like I have to speak with everyone.
True.
I have to be available for as many people as possible, a lot more people than usual. And I wanted something very different. I wasn't going to take it. Like I honestly wasn't going to take it. It was it was very scary.
Yeah.
It was very scary for me. And then I was being placed with the responsibility of starting and growing the business, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa.
Yeah.
Starting with Nigeria. So I was trying to run away from it because these guys don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
It's literally one person that met with me. We had 2-3 meetings, and then he thinks I'm amazing, and then he's introduced me to the owner of the company and 2 other directors, and they all think I'm amazing. I'm like, okay. And then I was in London January 2020.
Yeah.
And then I had a conversation with Chin. We hung Chin Okeke.
Chin Okeke, yeah. That's my brother. That's my
amazing, great guy.
That's my brother.
Great guy. And then Chin said to me, he says, if people like you who can actually do the work, keep running away from the responsibilities, because I never do press. I never do anything that kind of puts me in the public, so to speak. And he's like, if you keep running away, then the guys who can do half of what you can keep getting these roles and keep getting praised for doing little or nothing. I've forgotten how he put it, but he just hit me, and I was like, you know what, just do it. What's the worst that will happen? Yeah. You won't you won't be able, you don't do it, and then you move on to something else or whatever. And I did it. Start with just me.
Was it challenging?
It was very challenging. I had to, get on these calls, or these calls that would go on for 3 hours. And in the middle of the 3 hours, it's 6 different courses and trainings that I have to, get done. It was. So
these trainings, they were training you to understand the streaming business?
Yes. It was intense. 2020 was very intense. And thank God for COVID, because now I had more time to stay indoors and then pick up real quick. And I think that also because I had a lot of experience, prior to this, it was easy to kind of grasp. Yeah. So it's getting actual definitions or actual, okay, this thing that you do, this is what it actually means. Because there's no course that I've done for talent management. There's no course that I've done for understanding music business. I studied mass communication, majored in PR and advertising. I've done one business communications course, at Berkeley College of Music, and that's about it. So yeah, it was very challenging, but also very enlightening. And the team at ONErpm is so amazing. And one fun fact, ONErpm is probably the first organization that I've ever worked with that has the highest number of women in different positions,
nice.
Heading departments, part of the team,
breaking
everything.
the bias.
Yeah, breaking ONErpm is so breaking the bias. It's I've never worked with this many women, in my entire life.
Nice.
Yeah, and everybody gets stuff done. Yeah. No drama, no nothing. Everyone, it's amazing.
But did it get to you in any way? I know you've run businesses, you've run your business, you've done this. And you've come from an industry where, even though you've been organized, the industry in it hasn't had that infrastructural organization to help with a lot of things. did it change a lot of you having to be someone's employee now? Having to say yes,
bro.
sir, yes, sir. No, not yes, sir. You don't. You call them their names since they're foreigners.
Yeah.
But having to
But
answer
bro,
to line of
that's-
reporting and all
like,
that.
I think like so fresh out of school, I had a job. Like I had 2 jobs fresh out of school before I decided to do this like full time in 2008. Like work in music, full time. And right from that moment, I was always my own boss.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was a bit weird on some days when you've got this idea and you need to run it through someone first. But that's another amazing thing, like with the team that I work with now. So it's like it's gotten to a point where, you know, just do what you do as long as you're getting results.
Yeah. How has Afrobeats to the world like influenced this job in your role?
Afrobeats to the world. I
This
think that,
this globalization
so
of
that's
our,
the
of our
reason
local
why
sound.
I think that ONErpm is probably the first company that, you know, decided to come here, build a team here,
Yeah.
and be here.
Yeah.
Not just come here, sign, and then go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, be here, build here, and then grow. So I think that Afrobeats to the world is what got them to come here. And even for Martin was
Who's Martin?
the director like of global expansion in A&R.
Sir, I'm such a writer.
Yeah.
So when you introduce anything new to
Yeah,
me,
so-
I always, even when I'm writing, I introduce anything new.
Yeah.
I find that I have to explain
Who the
that
person
thing
is.
within that writing.
Yeah, that's amazing. that's nice.
So,
So, it gives a lot more context so
Yes.
you understand. So Martin is the head of global expansion at ONErpm and head of A&R as well at ONErpm. So I think when he decided to come to Africa as well, it was a risk.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone knew that he would come here and, you know, start a company and then in 2 years now have to open 5 more offices across Africa. And that's what he did. Yeah, so I think it was like Afrobeats to the world. He noticed that, and then he came out here. I haven't met a white guy who listens to as much Afrobeats and Caribbean music as much as he does. Like he probably listens to African music more than I do.
That's beautiful. And with this happening now, you recently got a new role. Director, let me say it myself. Director of A&R and operations.
Yeah, director A&R and operations Africa.
Africa.
Yeah.
So you're director.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna rub shoulders.
Yeah. So and that happened because so ONErpm started in January 2020, and I said this yesterday that I think that the moment that ONErpm came into Nigeria, it kind of like caused a shift in the music business.
Yeah.
Because now there's this international company that's coming, and the company is doing distribution for 80/20, 85/15. Nobody else was doing that, you know, at the time. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we were having a lot of, like, the minimum you'd hear would be like a 70/20. No, 70/30.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and it would be like for an artist that's like, you know, really doing well or whatever. It wasn't common. But then, and then also ONErpm was working with artists no one knew. So we were working with the ones no one knew, the ones that everybody knows,
Yeah.
and everything at similar paces. So I think that it kind of like challenged like the local guys that were here before, you know, to do better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I dare say that, you know, are coming into the markets, you know, worked for the better
for the entire
for-
ecosystem.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
one of the things, I know how digital distribution has been in this market. Remember when we started trying to connect our music officially to the internet, and we had VAS then, and VAS was such a, I'll say this publicly, it was such a thieving ground.
Such a thieving one. And then we also, there was the guys who understood it never let anyone else understand it. They never let anyone come close to understanding. So it's like, you send me a report, there's like 300,000 naira at the end of the reports, and I'm trying to understand how did I get 300,000 naira, and then there's just this one Excel sheet that has so much jargon, forgive me, and you know the total is like 300k. And
You
I'm
couldn't
like,
interpret the data.
no,
in any
and
way
then
that
an
made
Excel
sense.
sheet can be edited by any fucking body.
And this is not something that's been printed somewhere. It's just an Excel sheet that's just been filled.
That's been being filled and mailed to you. So you can only assume that if the Excel sheet was like ₦1,000,000, all you have to do is delete certain rows to get it to 300K, and you send it to the person, and you've kept a cool 700K. But then I also guess that's one of the reasons why that died real quick.
Yes, I remember doing a story on VAS then when I used to work at Pulse. I found my source inside one of the people distributing music, and one of the aggregators for them. I found a very good source, and I'm like, sit me down and break this thing down to me, because I normally just went to the person's office. I don't want to use pronouns too. They will find
That's
time to answer the person. I'm like, I sat the person down like, as a friendly banter. I wasn't even interested in the story. I'm like, so this thing you do, the person was busy uploading, pushing music. And I'm like, okay, because that's what I do in music industry. When I wanted to learn what a recording was, I spent like 34 months in a studio. I wake up in the morning, I go there and I sit. Artists will come record everything. And at different points in time, I'll just be asking them, what did they do there? What's this one? What's this one? Not because I wanted, not because I wanted to record, but I wanted to understand this journalism that I'm doing, the rudimentary of it. So when I make friends with people in like spaces that I don't understand, especially that work in music, I always ask them professional questions. What do you do? What do you do? So the more this person broke it down, the more I was like, alarm bells kept ringing, like, this is stealing. This is theft. This is straight up theft. There's no way.
Yeah, but then
you
only know what you know.
But even back then, it was unfair to me.
Yeah, but then for us in the industry, like, it's like income that should. So we're all used to booking shows.
Yeah,
that's where money comes from.
Sure.
Do you get? It's only recent. Like, so when VAS came in, it's like, oh, we can make money off of ringtones. Baba, bring contracts. I sign just as long as you're sending me money every month or every 3 months. So not many people were trying to understand where the money was coming from or how the money was being made. It was just like, okay, money is coming. Same thing with distribution. Even the guys who had first started distribution in Nigeria, you get, for the artists and the managers or whoever that were working with them, it wasn't a thing of, nobody was like, we weren't exactly trying to understand analytics then. It was just interesting that you were making money
from the music itself.
Yeah, and somewhere
previously we were making money for being an artist.
Yeah,
but now from the arts, MP3 itself, you're making money music from it.
And then as that progressed, it became a thing of, okay, if we're making $100, how did we make this $100 so that we can go and figure it out so that we can make $300?
Yeah.
Then questions start being asked. Okay. Then the more artists travel, like the more, like, so as myself as a manager, the more when we started to travel to South Africa, I think is when with digital music I started to understand that, oh, YouTube pays, you can make money from this, because you sit with other managers, you're sitting with other A&Rs, like other business execs, and everyone's talking about the different revenue sources and everything. It's like movies back in the days. Like, do you know anybody that was getting paid to have their music in a movie?
No.
You didn't tell the director thank you.
So with this now, you just launched in Africa.
Yeah.
What countries are this?
Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa.
What services are you offering?
Rwanda and South Africa, so 6.
What services are you offering?
Everything that ONErpm is about: music distribution, label services.
And why did you pick these countries?
So Ghana, no brainer, it's right there.
Yeah, it's one of the music centers of the country. But for a country like Rwanda, Cote d'Ivoire, I can understand that francophone. But if you come like Rwanda, what does Rwanda hold?
It's amazing. Rwanda is probably like my favorite African country right now.
Of course. Of course.
And it's amazing. Like the artists, like this year, I say that this year is a very important year for Rwandan music, because there's a lot of young artists between the ages of like 19 and 26 that are coming up now making such amazing music.
Yeah.
The only difference is, like, so compared to other countries, like, so in Nigeria, we've got like different genres. There's like artists, you find an artist that's successful, one artist successful in rap in 2022, one artist successful in street hop, as they call it, one successful in R&B, like different gospel, and in most cases it's more than one in all these different genres. In Kenya, it's gengeton.
Yeah, Gengetone.
You get
is doing
mostly
it.
Gengetone, and then maybe some soul singers, and maybe then the dance hall ones. In Tanzania, it's bongo flavor.
Yeah.
Or now I'm a piano.
Yeah.
Or Afro pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been biting a lot from us though.
Yeah.
I see them.
You see, you see. So in Rwanda, just like Nigeria, there's like rappers. There's rappers, Ish Kevin. There's singers, Mikey Ahura. There's Jiget. There's gospel artists. There's Bruce Melody, Afro pop star, who can switch like I can hear him on a record with Bruno Mars,
Yeah.
and at the same time I can hear him on a record with who now with John Legend. Like there's like different kind. Like I met so many. Like I've heard so many songs. I went to Rwanda. I went to Kigali December 2020 on holiday, and I didn't go for work. But like the last 2 days of my 9 days, I got exposed to their music,
Yeah.
and it was crazy that I'd never heard of one Rwandan musician before.
Yeah, me too. Like all the names you've mentioned
Yeah,
now.
you're
After
looking
this,
like-
after this, I'm going to go back and pick out this part where you mentioned these names, look for them, and get
And
an
look for the-
education.
yeah, so it was amazing. Like exactly this is what happened to me as well. Because everywhere I went, it was like Nigerian music everywhere, and I'm like, bro, I left Nigeria because I wanted some peace, but now Nigerian music is following me everywhere. So I started like I reached out to someone that I was supposed to have met like from the first day that I got in there.
Yeah.
But then 2 days to leave, I'm like, you know what, let me just talk to someone about Rwanda. And then he introduced me to all these amazing artists. And they've never been given, or they never had, well, because of all the stuff that they've been through, they haven't really had as many opportunities as there are. So they have, it gets like the biggest artist becomes the biggest artist by putting out so many records and so many videos, and that's like the end. You get so 2 of their biggest artists currently live in I think the States,
Yeah.
because it's like what's next.
True.
You get, I'm releasing music, doing shows,
Yeah.
and everybody comes out. Then I do it again next year, and I do it again next
true.
year.
It becomes
Yeah.
cyclical.
Yeah, but then now again with access to information and all of that, there's a lot more happening. And this year is a very special year for Rwanda.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. So
I'm an advocate for Rwanda.
okay. So I'll check them out. I'll check what they have.
Yeah.
I'll check their music, and then hopefully I find something that I can hold on to. I'm sure I'd find every
You
country
will.
I go to. I always find things I
Well,
hold on
I'll
to.
share.
Please do.
lots.
Please do. Please. If that's my thing,
Mm-hmm.
please do. I want to learn. In all of this, you've been a. I want to look at in ways that you've served. You've served your family. You've served artists. You served man. You're serving God. These are your words.
Joey. Joey.
But these
Okay.
are your
Yeah.
words.
When you put it this way, it's like
Yeah,
okay.
of course. You
Okay.
served man, you served God, and through service to God and humanity, you found a way to still stay through to selling music. But I'm just sort of curious, like, I know service is your thing, but at the end of it all, what do you want to go home with you?
Most importantly, I don't want the world to be the same way I met it in. Like I don't want, the world to be the same way it was before I don't want you to be the same way you were before you met me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I get
She's
you.
definitely not the same.
No,
that
she's
she is.
not. She's not the
Yeah.
same.
So
She's
that's it for me.
Interestingly, she asked to be on in my next recording because she's also learning. So
Yeah.
yes, so
And
she-
then nobody's ever the same when they meet you, Joey.
yes, no, they,
Yeah, actually. Yeah. So that's it for me. Like my legacy, I just want people to. I want people to say, "Ah, God is good." Oh,
yeah, true.
one.
True.
I want people to see how much drive
Yeah,
I give when I believe in something,
yeah,
and how more times than often it works out.
nice.
And I want that to inspire them in whatever it is that they do is possible. Like bro, like when I was in secondary school, I had no fucking idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's just like when I'm in science, arts, or social science, I really didn't give a fuck. It was my parents that were
About it.
about it. Even going into uni, like I wanted to study English. Like who wants to study? Who who genuinely fills a form and says, and that was because I only liked English and literature, English language and literature and English in secondary school. So I'm like, okay, if I must continue this thing called education, I might as well. And you know, my life has just been very interesting, like the different ways and the different turning points and the way that God has come through for me. I want people to be inspired when they hear my story.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the reasons why I actually don't do interviews, because most of the times I feel like, so when this comes out, I'm probably going to get like 5 more emails.
Yeah.
And I don't want my story or my conversations to just be gist.
True.
Yeah, I want it to make sense. I want it to impact someone. I want someone to hear it. I want someone to read it. And actually I want it to impact their lives. And I've always felt that if I ended up having this conversation, like, bro, I wouldn't even be sitting down here with you because you'd have probably heard all of this
Somewhere, someplace
3 years
else.
ago.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for doing this. To be honest, I've been chasing Osagie for 3 years now. I've been chasing that since just now for 3 years now to get this conversation.
But
And
I've chased you too now.
yeah, you have. We've chased each other.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for this. And
Thank you, Joey.
I'm happy that you were able to do this. And I'm happy.
Glad, and I'm glad that you're doing this, because one of the things that we don't do, a lot of us don't do, is tell our stories.
Yeah.
And it's very important to tell your story so the next guy can learn from it.
True.
If I don't want to name names, I don't want to use pronouns, but when Tosin Buckner was the first people to tell me that, you know, I think you'd make an amazing manager.
Yeah.
And I think you should go to this person because this person is doing really great and I think this person will learn. Sure. And I used my last...
God bless us all.
God bless us. Like, I'm one of the people that believes that Tosin is still, like, hanging out somewhere. Like, yeah. And she had told me to go see this guy. Yeah, this guy. Sorry. Anyways, and I remember using my last card, walking halfway and everything. Maybe he was stressed, maybe he was tired. But he just said to me, like, oh, there's nothing I can teach you. I don't have the time. I'm not taking any interns by. And when I was walking back to, was it Diroko? What they call that bus stop?
Idiroko.
Before Maryland.
I don't
There's
know.
one bus stop before Maryland when you're coming from Oshodi.
I don't know the mainland that much.
Okay. So anyways, yeah, when walking back, I was just like, no problem, he can't, like, but no worries, like, we'll be in the same room one day. Yeah. She gets, and I dare say that in a few years, I was backstage with my artist at the same show as his artist, and his artist performed before my artist.
That's beautiful.
So, but then we don't tell our stories.
Yeah.
We don't tell our stories a lot. Guys like Wiz and David are some of the very few artists who we've literally grown with.
Yeah.
You know,
and even them, they don't fully tell their story. I want Wiz. I've been trying to get Wizkid.
But then
in 2020,
yeah,
we scheduled an interview when Made in Lagos was supposed to come out, and while we were trying to sort that out, NSAS happened.
Oh,
and that
was the end.
The other time I interviewed him, I interviewed Wizkid in South Africa in 2016 for the Mamas. And after doing that, all of that, go back to my hotel. I'm like, let me kill this story. And I checked my audio file, and the guy I hired in South Africa did not record audio. So there was just video of Wizkid talking.
Wait, I don't understand.
He didn't
like
click
the video
audio.
does not have...
The video doesn't have audio.
So it's just...
Yeah, just Wizkid miming. Miming with me.
You should get someone to transcribe what he was saying.
I don't have professional lip readers here. So yeah, those sort of they don't fully tell their story.
But I feel like because of how they've, like, there are people around them that tell
these stories.
But there's artists before them, and then there are even artists now that are not saying anything to anyone. I was saying to Orezi the other day, like, you need to tell your story because you're going to drop a song now that's going to be a hit. And Gen Z would think that you're a new artist because Orezi looks like a young boy.
Let him come here. Let him come to the #1 podcast in Nigeria.
I'll let him know. Yeah, and I think also, like, using Orezi as an example now, I think a lot of artists also want to talk. Because like when I said it to him, he's like, yeah, he'd like to, but where? Yeah. So everyone wants to feel comfortable or have these conversations with someone or a team who's not going to sell, these heartfelt conversations, these conversations that are coming straight from the heart.
Yeah.
As gist.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I've never done gist before.
That's why I'm
just
sitting on it.
irritates me. I'm serious. I've never done it.
But that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And that's why I think everyone who's gonna sit with you, everyone who's sitting with you, is doing it.
Yeah, true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.